Swifties, I don't understand you. Hi, my name's Gimmick. I don't like Taylor Swift's music. All that I've heard, not for me. But I don't know why. Why don't I like it? And why do millions upon millions of people do like it? That sentence didn't really work. So this is what I'm calling Swifting Slowly. Part 1. This is part 1. I'm doing more of this. You don't need to yell you don't need to yell at me about it. I'm gonna do the others. I'm already working on the second one. Oh boy. So, why am I doing this to myself? There always seems to be an innate sense of schadenfreude on this website. So, why not just throw my hat in the ring for that? But mostly, I'm trying to articulate exactly why I don't enjoy her music. I think it is perfectly valid to just not like something. However, I need to be obsessive about everything I do. And that includes subjecting myself to displeasure for the sake of, I don't know, maybe funny? I don't know if this is funny. But throughout this process, I'm going to try to nail down exactly what about it I'm not into. And maybe find a couple things that I am into. Because nothing's a monolith, right? You know what I mean? Everything changes. Taylor Swift changes. I mean, how many of her music videos get comments that are just like, I miss when she did country music. I miss the old Taylor Swift. I miss the new stuff. But why? I've listened to it. And why do you miss that? Is it purely from a sense of nostalgia of something that you're used to? Probably. But I'm also going into this sort of blind because I have not purposefully listened to her music before. It's always just on sometime. You're riding in a friend's car or you're at a store. Those are the two places you can find music, by the way. I'll feel better about having my opinion when I can actually articulate why I have this opinion. But that's not enough. By the end of this, I want to try to nail down what about this music is good for so many people. By the end of this project, hey, that'll be a whole mess of things. And before we actually begin, I need to give a bit of a qualifier, an explanation. This is not coming out of a place of hatred for the woman, though I don't really care about her as a person. This is also not an attack against fans, or women in general, or anyone else that likes her stuff. I really don't care. And you shouldn't care either. I am a stranger on the internet, and so are you. So hopefully having those things in mind gives better reasoning for exactly what I'm trying to look for. And we're going through this, by the way, through her entire discography. Every song that she has released and written, I am going to cover. I probably not stuff that she only features a voice in, because she didn't write that. And it's more than just the music. People gravitate towards her stuff because of the writing. And I don't understand that. I'm a huge fan of poetry and creative lyricism in my music intake. In fact, I prefer it. But our song is not hitting that fix for me. And for a final qualifier of what to expect, you should know that I am mostly so tired listening to these songs. All the videos I've taken, it's a chill time. It's very chill time. And while I am not super for the concept of secondary screen entertainment, this is absolutely something that you can just listen to in the background. I'm not going to be listening to the songs in full. But I have sped up footage of me listening to the music, so you can see my eyes glaze over really fast. So, I don't know, enjoy? First one of the songs, we got first track, Tim McGraw off the album, Taylor Swift. Watching music video too. Bear with me, by the way, I'm using my headphone microphone. It sounds like this. But you watch movies wrong. You like Mothra more than Kong. Because you say that they're too long. But That don't feel like a fair comparison, 'cause all the classics are about an hour and a half. Okay, we're starting off, well, not strong, but it's the exact kind of music that I would tune out at a restaurant. Boy, getting through the early years is going to be tough because I'm not into most country music. Some, not this. Who is that guy? This song's about an ex-boyfriend. Sorry. Okay. So, written in math class within 15 minutes. Ah, yeah, sure. Heaven knows I'm not going to be doing math in math class. As stated by Wikipedia, Swift finished recording that album by the end of her freshman year of high school. The article said that this was written about a previous summer romance. It was written because her boyfriend was going to college. Woof. Starting off strong, Little Miss Victim. The producers of the song mentioned them quoting how they had the song had a lot of like emotional depth about romance. This was about grooming. This was about being groomed and not realizing it. Being written during the time of the grooming. What? Oh my gosh. You know, oh no. In the song, I hope that this part of the song was fictional, her hyperbole. It said that a she wrote a love letter to him 3 years ago. So they had known each other for 3 years at least, which would have put her at about 11 to 12 years old, going after 15, 16-year-old, 14, 15-year-old, I suppose. By the end of freshman year of high school, you're like 14, 15. He is leaving his senior year of high school. I mean, boy, I wish I hope someone stepped in. I really hope someone stepped in and was like, "Hey, this isn't awesome." Great start. So I think I started off on a kind of a boring note. Yeah, what I'm trying to do now is kind of buffer my experience with this music, trying to maintain a sequence of sandwiches in my ears. So I'm listening to music that I haven't heard before, then this, and then music that I like. And I'm trying to keep a healthy rotation going. So because if it's just nonstop of this, I would struggle. It's been several hours since I've watched that first one, and DJ Cumberland's Dragula Apata, very good mashup, and that was exactly what I needed to get me in the mindset of enjoying music. So now we're going to listen to Picture to Burn, the original audio version, because she says gay in that one. I ate that turducken without the duck, cooked with butter and chives. You're out of forks, spoons, I only left the knives. So I cooked you a squash with rosemary and thyme. The spirit of Home Depot is around me at all times. Alright, what do we have to learn about this song? I can definitely see why this was such a big thing for country music fans specifically. I could see this being an anthem for angry teenage girls who don't have a reciprocated crush. The things in the lyrics are specifically about a guy who didn't like her back. Oh, I'm so mad at you. Why don't you like me back? Why won't you let me drive your truck? I mean, this was written by a teenager, so like, the thought process of why would he let me drive his truck when we're not that close? Why would that? Like, why would he? What is there to say? Okay, no. I need to nail down exactly why I don't like this. Opening vocals reminded me a lot of early 2000s pop rock. I forget the name and the artist, but one of the songs in 10 Things I Hate About You, I want to say it's in the closing credits. That's what opening vocals felt like it was leading up to, despite aggressive banjo. Aggressive banjo. Country rock really is not for me. Folk rock, any day of the week. I like country music that feels like it has a mournful, bittersweet legend behind it. You know, those kinds. Here's some examples, I'm sure. This sound is not for me. And it's not even like this isn't my culture. Well, I don't claim it as my culture. I don't think the situation is that I don't like it because it's not music that I grew up around, because most of the music that I actively listen to is all stuff that I found on my own, or it was introduced to me by friends later in life. Plenty of examples otherwise, obviously, but sure. But I've heard music like this before, and I didn't like it then either. It kind of feels like all the instruments are yelling at me all at once, and that's uncomfy for me. You know what? You know what? You know what's definitely not my lived experience. I have had intense anger about people in my life, because I'm a human person and also mentally ill. When I seek out music that reflects and exemplifies the feeling, usually the anger is in the vocals, not just the instrumental. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's part of it for me, because if you took away the instrumental track and just had it be vocals and you weren't paying attention to the words, this could be any song. And because I don't have an emotional quality from the performer, it doesn't sync well with me. Oh boy, but that's most of her stuff, isn't it? I gotta find more ways to say the same thing over and over again. But hey, that's what a video essay is. Is this a video essay? Is this a reaction video? What are you watching? What am I doing? What am I doing?
Hey, this one's not about an ex-boyfriend. I don't think it's about an ex-boyfriend. I can't find anything that suggests this is about an ex-boyfriend. The most I'm seeing is it's a guy who didn't like her back, but then it reads as I was betrayed. I felt unloved by you when I needed you. But were they even together? Is this how neurotypicals process crushes? This might just be a me thing, but my understanding of an unreciprocated crush is to fall into deep melancholy, not I'm gonna sleep with all your best friends. It's not a you lost something, you didn't realize how good you had it before you lost it kind of thing. Because by her own admission, unless I missed something, he never had it. There was nothing to be had. There was nothing to be had. You there. You were a teenage girl, weren't you? Don't you lie to me. You know, you. Is this how it was? Is this how it was to be you? Because I just got sad. I just kind of fell into like depression. I'm depressed. That's right. Hmm. I don't know if Taylor Swift has depression or had as a teenager. I kind of feel like being a rich weeb for the South is kind of makes you depression proof. Because like you can afford to move to Nashville and start a country music career at the age of 14 years old because you're rich. So y- your only conflicts are interpersonal and not environmental. I mean, she was a girl, but a white one, so and a straight one at that. Yeah, fight me about it. Today I'm wearing a necklace coin with a little wizard on it and some swords on the back. I was told it was a King Arthur thing. I think. I don't know. This was like 3 months ago when I got. Who knows? It's a whole new day here on my messy, messy bed as I am doing my laundry. Teardrops on my guitar. Yeah. There's a badger chewing both of my legs off now. I need an ambulance or maybe just a tiny cow, like the kind with magic healing properties like curing syphilis. Okay. Honestly, better. Better for me personally. So this song's about an unrequited love. Now we're getting into what I was talking about with the last song of not having, not connecting with the response being rage, but with it being sad. I think the only thing that puts me off, and this is something that I feel with any song that does this, is when someone's name is in it. I hope to the heavens above that Drew is a pseudonym. 'Cause I will be so real if one of my high school classmates got a song on the radio and they said my name. Ugh, I would be uncomfy. Nothing about the song is making me want to re-listen to it. And that's usually how I know I got a good one, because I've got one of my diseases is that when I find a song that I really enjoy, I gotta listen to it over and over, wring it out for all it's worth. And sometimes I will listen to a song and I'm like, oh, that was a nice song. Like that, save it for later, and I don't listen to it for a while. I think we have our first song that fits into the category of this is fine. Teardrops on My Guitar feels like the kind of music my worst ex would listen to. And that does put me off a little bit. I really, really hope that Drew is not a real person. Oh no. My exact fear happened. Drew did not know. 2.5 years later, he found out. Why would you use his real name? That's a nightmare. That's so frightening. When it's vague, obviously all of these songs are going to be about someone, because that seems to be the MO for the most part. What does the MO mean? Modus operandi, which is Latin for method of operation or mode of operation. Okay, that now we know. With some exceptions, I know. All of the songs are gonna be about somebody. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Right! She was still a freshman when this came. Oh no! Okay. Okay. Think, picture with me here. You're 16, 17 years old. You're just changing the radio, and you know that one of your classmates, one of your friends, has been recording music. And then you hear your name from her voice talk about how she is crying over you. And this happened when you were 14. Mr. Drew, I hope you had a better emotional reaction than I would have, because I think I would have been either horrified or humiliated, maybe deeply upset. If someone wants to have their own private thoughts, absolutely fine. If someone wants to express those thoughts out loud in public to other people, absolutely. But when it is personhood brought into it, a real life person, he is just some guy at high school. He was just some teenager. That's That's so scary. That's so scary. Oh gosh, I'm thinking about people that I knew in high school. If they wrote songs about me that were on the radio, on the top of the charts, on the Hot 100 chart, I would die. I would perish. I would explode. I would explode right then and there. Well, now I definitely don't like this song. Oh no. Oh boy. And it can work sometimes, right? It can work sometimes because sometimes artists will write songs about someone and it's like a gift to them. And obviously, the reception of that varies from person to person, but sometimes it's an incredibly it's taken as an incredibly kind gesture. These are private thoughts. What happened to his social life? 'Cause music takes a while to come out. So then you gotta figure out when was this happening. And it's on the same album as Mourning Her Groomer Boyfriend.
I took a shower between songs. Can you tell?
I already recorded a segment about A Place in This World, and then I found out that the audio wasn't picking up anything I was saying, so I wasted my time. That bottom line, boring song, dumb song, uninspired song. How did it take 3 people to write that? That is the most cookie cutter of the songs. But it can't be helped because this was written when she was 13. 13-year-old. I really am not trying to just hate on young teenage girls intentionally. I'm sure for some awkward blonde child this was everything to them. But I don't think when you have parents that are rich and have a family legacy in the industry that you get to write about I'm alone in this world. There are transgender people of color who get kicked out of their homes, lose everything. They are being targeted by this country and by a lot of its leaders. Uh, and not a single one of them would even dare think of writing something akin to A Place in This World. It's a teenager's diary entry with 3 writers. For what? Spelling? Anyway, next song. I had such a bad time with that last song. It took me 5 days to come back to this project. Looking back, I really was telling a mid 2000s teenage girl to check her privilege. And I stand by it. Cold as You. I can't believe we're only 5 songs in. I truly don't know if I'm going to have to trim a lot of my thoughts or if this video is going to be very long. Oh, okay. Well, that answers that.
Where is my dad? I just saw him pushing the racing car grocery cart. And now that I'm lost in this international snacks aisle, I've never been anywhere without my dad.
So this one's about an ex-boyfriend. I think the pinnacle of the type of music that you see comments under that say I'm 13 and this is deep. So Swift said that this was lyrically her favorite on the album. It's fine. Yeah. I wonder if the concept for this song is based on a story, if it is just full cloth original emotion, or it's based off of the groomer she dated in high school. I really hope so, because part of that song is about moving on past not being appreciated in a relationship. Sometimes, in reference to songs like this, I will hear people say that this is about the girl experience. This is womanhood. I've had a lot more female experiences that I'm familiar with. So every time I come across these specific emotional states in music, I'm like, yeah, that was that. Yeah, that's how people are. I don't think I'm a woman, but hey, I've been wrong before. This would be really funny to look back on if I transition later in life. I like no use defending words that you'll never say. I like that. That's pretty nice. That's pretty decent. That's a. I mean, yeah, it's neat. But the rest of it's also there, and I'm not. Nothing's grabbing me. Nothing's making me think, oh, hey, I gotta listen to that again. Probably why this is not one of the top songs. Should I have just done all the top songs? No, no, because I have to give everything a fair chance. If I am cherry picking the global favorites, my opinions hold less value because I am not analyzing it, the entirety of the subject. Millions of people disagree with where I'm with my opinions of these songs. And the later songs, I've heard a few of them and I still don't like them. But if I stop at just the songs that don't matter to the wider populace, then I'm not learning anything. And this is trying to learn something. And again, all criticism is kept in mind that she was 13 or 14. I'm gonna barf and die. The AC in my house is not working, so my shirt is in Snuggie mode. Give her this, she writes a lot, and quantity is the same thing as. Alright, the outside. Go.
Somebody please call the Ghostbusters! Jeepers, that's frightening! Tensions are heightening! Holy crap, it has a gun! Run for the frickin' hills or we'll die!
So this is not about any type of relationship. This is about country music. Wikipedia tells me that she wrote this when she was 12 years old, when she felt alienated for liking country music. And again, being young is torture, and it is the punishment for being alive. But man, I'm sorry that she felt like that. I don't care if you were seen as weird for liking Tim McGraw at 12 years old. Where are her parents from? Oh my gosh, she was born in Reading? Did she know Arthur? Wait, no, his last name was Reed. He wasn't from Reading, Pennsylvania. There are very few shows where characters exist in Pennsylvania, or at least start there, because there's Fresh Prince and there's Little Bill, Watson on CBS. When I find out that someone's from New York, I'm gonna make a joke about seeing Spider-Man. There's really nothing funny about this world. There's no information on where her parents are from. Her grandmother was born in Tennessee, so there's some connection there. But she did opera. Swift was named after a musician, so it could just be that, you know, she just got into it because that's the music her parents introduced her to. And again, had been doing music her entire life. Like she had the privilege of being brought around a whole bunch of places for the purpose of getting the entertainment industry. I got to be real careful saying this portmanteau, but country aboo. Yeah. It sounds like the song that would play in the credits of a direct to DVD family movie. And I believe the demographic for those types of DVDs do have, in fact, a lot of overlap with being the demographic for Miss Swift. I also don't have any particular care for this situation and the reason for writing it. At 12, again, this was written by a 12-year-old, and you can tell there's a Robert Frost reference in there. And yeah, seventh grade is the age where you read The Road Less Traveled By. I didn't like that poem. But I spent the majority of my upbringing in Florida, in the country of Florida. No, the areas of Florida that are definitely more country flavored. You know, the middle strip where it's just like about 40 minutes from anything interesting, unless you like horses. So I was constantly surrounded by people that liked country music, and I was ostracized for, well, a number of reasons. Biggest ones that come to mind were being kind of socially inept and reading a lot of classical literature at a young age. Actually, I don't remember what the children thought about me reading old books because I don't think I told that many people. I definitely told them about Frankenstein a lot because I love that one. But, you know, niche interests are where it's harder to connect with people. I mean, I certainly didn't see any other fourth graders doing book reports on Jekyll and Hyde. Teachers thought it was hilarious, though. So trying to flip my perspective on that to understand that country music was a niche where she was growing up at the time. But hold on. She was already visiting Tennessee to do stuff, and she wanted to go to Tennessee and would not move to Tennessee until 2 years later. It's a very big part of her upbringing. But yeah, I can get that. It just seems kind of absurd to me because of where I am historically and geographically. The concept that country music is something that you get ostracized for. I don't know. We're gonna see if I can get one more in before I have to go make spaghetti. I accidentally cheated and looked ahead at what this song is about, and geez, okay. This one's Tried to Get It With a Smile. Hey, what if I did a parody on the wrong song? I like this song. Did you know Abe Lincoln befriended his childhood bully? Alright. I did have to step away, but I have my music playing in these headphones the whole time. So I did listen to the whole thing. This one's difficult for me to go through thinking about. Swift wrote this about her friend when she found out that that friend had an eating disorder. Awesome to be using this as the venue to mention it. I had an eating disorder growing up. Throughout middle and early high school, I want to say. Yeah, I did have to step away, but I have my music playing in these headphones the whole time. So I did listen to the whole thing. This one's difficult for me to go through thinking about. Swift wrote this about her friend when she found out that that friend had an eating disorder. Awesome to be using this as the venue to mention it. I had an eating disorder growing up. Throughout middle and early high school, I want to say. Starving myself and suicidal tendencies, things like that. Stuff that I don't want to joke about or make light of. Because anyone going through any of these things uh, knows how difficult it is to be confronted with an upfront example of what you're going through. As a message to her friend, it's very sweet. It being used for anyone listening who potentially is also going through that, sure, nice. It's a good choice. No, it's fine. The song's one of the harmless ones. It's fine. This is just it's well intentioned and directly about someone she cared about. Yeah, all right, it's fine. Next I come back to this, I need to remember to first listen to country music I do like so that I can mention it by name. Because a lot of this is just coming down to I'm not into country music, and I've got to have more to say than that, right? I gotta. I did remember, and it's a good one. God's Gonna Cut You Down by Johnny Cash. Nothing Fades Like the Light by Orville Peck. And The Devil Wears a Suit and Tie by Colter Wall. Good stuff. Good stuff. I guess I really like songs about the devil and loss. We're halfway through the first album. It's time for Stay Beautiful. Go. There is a snake that lives within the dark wood. She never breathes. She siphons oxygen from you. and your family too. I need to get better at identifying instruments. Because there was one at one part of the song went, and I liked that. I don't know anything about music. Have you gathered that by now? That I'm not actually talking about the construction of the song and just blatantly ill-informed critiques that have no bearing on anything whatsoever. I hope you have. Actually, I hope you haven't, because you're like half an hour into a video right now. And there's a lot more left. Do you know how many songs she made? That many. Enough for this to be that many. This one's not about a boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend. But this is an unrequited love. You know, that kind where he doesn't even know you exist. Like the other one we wrote earlier in the album. His smile's like a radio. I'm going to be stuck on that for a bit. We're now on to Should Have Said No, which was one of the songs that reached the top of the Hot Country songs. It is embarrassing to admit this, but I have heard this before in the form of a Minecraft parody when I was like maybe 12 or 13. I never listened to the original. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of influence for modern music. I just had to go off of what was in front of me. And Minecraft was always in front of me, because I liked it. Still do. And I'm going to have a late lunch with it to help me get through. So let's see how I feel about this one. My uncle's a phone, he doesn't have bones, and all of his organs are super hollow. He needs to borrow teeth to chew electric meat. I'll get them back to you by the end of the month. Because phones don't have jaws, he weirdly has paws, and he uses them to shovel pre-chewed meat into his maw. He will glue your teeth to a big hammer. I was thinking of a different song. I was thinking of Passengers Let Her Go, only because of the first couple notes are all I heard when I first pulled up the video to listen to. So I heard dun-dun-dun, and I was like, oh, I know that one. No, I don't. I've never heard that song. I do like a rock ballad, but I don't think this is the voice for it. If it was an older woman singing this, that would feel stronger to me. This song is about a cheating ex-boyfriend, and initially hearing Swift's vocal quality, it's easy to connect that to the adult experience of cheating. But she was like 13, and granted, I know what 13 and 14-year-olds are capable of. I remember being that age. But also, that's kids. Getting cheated on sucks. If I was going through a bad breakup because my partner cheated on me, this is not something I would blast in my ears while driving too fast down the road. Because it's kids, right? Like, again, first album, finished when she was 14. I mean, I can't, I really just can't, I can't get past the age. That's, it's really, and it kind of makes it, comical is not the right word, because it's not actually funny, but it's just strange to me. I'm having a bit of like, not cognitive dissonance, but maybe social dissonance. All of the instrumentals coming in, it's very powerful, and then it's just eighth grader. I like the last couple notes of the song, how it fades out. It's a good way to end a song. That was nice. Lyrically, I mean, it's a song about cheating. How many ways can you sing that you got cheated on? Like, there are so many songs about getting cheated on. Well, what else we got? You want to say hi to the people? Oh, hi. Hi, Gimli. Okay, not my hair mom. Mary's song, parentheses, oh my. From what I've read initially, this one's not even about Miss Swift. She made up a character. I'm gonna just do it now. What if we built a house and we ate that house? I don't mean like gingerbread, I mean a real house made of bricks and drywall. Oh, nom, 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 nom. Did I find one I liked? Huh. Okay. So, the instrumental section of this, a lot of big sweeping sounds that just a sudden crash into music that I really enjoy. I think the repetition of the chorus is working for me, but the repetition in the verses is not. The chorus will give you, but the verses give you. I don't know why the chorus works better for me, but in terms of vocals, just that little bit. Da 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 da. That that I think works nicely. It also has the benefit of being a much more accessible type of music because it's no longer a teenager's diary. Because there are, I want to say, 3 writers on this song. I think just those first few notes of the chorus are going to be stuck in my head. I might listen to the instrumental track for this and see if I have a better, more overall positive perception of this song. I have to put it to a vote as to whether or not I'm doing the deluxe version of the album. Because if I'm not, then where I am right now is the second to last, and I can finally move on to different album art to have in my periphery. Neat! I wonder who it'll be this time. We have now reached the song that I have been looking forward to the least. On this album, anyway. And I don't look forward to listening to our song because minimum wage jobs love playing this on the radio. Having worked a few, I'm tired of it. I'll be watching the music video to see if that alters my perception in any way.
Devoured a chronic unkind, if they will not change, may their souls taste sublime. Make compassion their choice and one release. If they don't, may they never know peace. Tear down infrastructure of hate. May the oppressor know naught but misery.
Oh my gosh, I still hate it. Ugh. This song tastes like linoleum floors. I shouldn't have watched the music video. I forgot I get so uncomfortable when it's just extended shots of a singer looking me right in the eyes. This song's about a boyfriend, not an ex this time. This song was written for a talent show. I could see that working for that. Yeah, this was written in 9th grade. So she's like 14. Which boyfriend was this one? How much dating happens between the ages of 12 and 14? I didn't start dating anyone until I was 14. And that was a mistake. For so many reasons, that was a mistake. I'm in a better place now, don't worry. No, I can't. The bias. The bias in my head is keeping me from being critical and clinical about this because I can't. I see shelves. Anytime I hear the lyrics in my head, I just feel shelves and sweat on my back. It's one of those songs that from the back of my throat up to the front of my mouth, I just feel a full. Don't get me wrong, I love songs. I've got some extensive playlists about them. And falling out of love, and heartbreak, and wishing that you had what once was. I love that kind of music. But the song makes me feel bad. This one makes me feel bad. What other fun trivia can we get about this song? It was smart to put the song with Play It Again at the end. That was good thinking. She intentionally put on a southern accent for this one. Makes sense considering the music. Also, if you haven't seen the music video, give it another look because it's very jarring to like focus in on a 16-year-old's feet and legs. Different time, I know. Well, not that different. What shows were on Nickelodeon at the time? And then cut to a black and white space with some very early 2000s rocker hair. And it's the general prom aesthetic, just waiting on the porch for her boy to pick her up. I see it written like, feminist undertones because the chorus up until the last cycle of the song of the chorus, it was always he's coming to my door, he's knocking on my window, and then the last one is I also did that. I did that too, actually. I think I've I think uh, I think maybe my relationship with gender is just so off base from the target audience that that doesn't mean anything to me at this point. I'm also listening in 2021. No, you're not. It's 2025. Stupid. When there have already been years of feminist movements, more and more strives against patriarchal society through liberation and social work and so many different things. And I'm also listening to this in the time where all of that is trying to be undone by the devil himself. But all that gives me a skewed perspective on the music because I'm sure at the time it was 2006 when this came out, right? Whatever. And there were still moments in all media where they had to almost look at the camera and say, by the way, women can do it too. Because where I am currently in my life, I have a very different relationship to gender politics. So for me, it is less brushing it off and more just being like, well, yeah, duh, it doesn't, who cares? It doesn't matter. Who cares? Just do stuff. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The song itself, I'm not a fan. I can't get into it. I can't get into it no matter how. There's no way for me to mentally divorce the experience of having to listen to this song repeatedly for months, especially during COVID. Why was I considered a what was the term for it? The necessary jobs. The term is essential worker. Anyway, I don't think I was. I was happy to get paid, but I don't think I was. I don't have that money now anyway. No, the song's linoleum flavored now. It tastes like a store. It just tastes like a store. That's all this has become. I don't know what it could have been at the time, but that's all it is now for me. Is this the end of the album? Is this the end of the album? Can I go into something else now? No. Bananas do not get to vote. They only get to ride the electoral goat. That said, that goat is pretty dope. Maybe I should get a turn for a ride. Mixed feelings. Mixed feelings about that one. As a song on its own, yeah, that's fine. Honestly, I could like this one. Look, we know this video is about my personal preference. That's a lot of tambourine. A lot of aggressive tambourine. If the tambourine wasn't there, honestly, I could say I like the song. But because I keep noticing that, just because it's an instrument that is, by design, only one note, and it is about the rhythm in which you use it. That said, that rhythm is clap, 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 clap. The whole camera shot. I'm on my bed. We know this. There's pillows everywhere. We know this. And that's why the camera's shaky. I watched the music video for that, and my experience watching that, and going through my head was, yeah, this is very sweet. You know, it's having having a song about her family, being with her and all that. That's really great. That's sweet. And then I got to the lyrics, just a boy and a girl. I was like, well, Taylor, TSweeft, you were so close. You were so close. Where does she write about her family? Because so far, the three song subjects, I guess four, are one, a friend, and that was nice. Two, a boyfriend. Three, an ex-boyfriend. Four, potential boyfriend. That's 3 out of 4 subjects so far that are just boy. So, in a way, I suppose this song's about a boyfriend. I'm also just tired of the format of pop songs. Pop songs in general, I'm fine with. A lot of the time, I am fine with them. Sometimes I'll like them. Country pop, I haven't heard enough that I enjoy. But I'm really so exhausted at this point in my life of the format of verse, chorus, and now here's a few seconds of bridge before we go into the chorus again, and then maybe they repeat the last line. I want more musicians to take more chances with the formats of their songs. I know they're all bowing to uh, the great record label in the sky, something that can be on radio station. Let's be real, on Spotify, and that's everything that's there. That's everything that is the big thing for all of that. So getting outside of that comfort zone is going to take a lot of time. And this was early 2000s, and that's still a very present problem with a lot of modern music. Even songs I like fall into that pitfall of just the exact same structure over and over again. Same with every video essay. If everything's structured the exact same way of an essay, you can feel the paragraphs in videos that you watch. I wonder if that's what this is. This a video essay? I haven't filmed the beginning of this yet. I was planning on doing it way later once this is all done. I don't know. I don't know what this is. Am I ranking these? I guess be categorizing them, because I'm not going to be like, this one's better than that, because too many of them would be too low on the tier list, because this isn't music I like. But it's not enough to just say that. You gotta say more than that, Gimmick. You gotta be so specific, because if you don't give all the reasons for your opinions, then what's the point of having opinions? I'm mad at myself for doing this. And there's still more to do. Can you believe that? I just realized my microphone in my headphones was not connected to my computer, and now for some reason my computer's not even recognizing that I have a microphone in this. I'm pretty sure. Does this sound terrible at all?
What if I get like right here? What if I get right here? Is this any better? Is this any worse?
I forgot to say the last song was I'm Only Me With I'm With You. You know that. It's on screen, I bet. Whatever. I haven't finished editing. Oh, boy. Next one's Invisible. Go.
Good morning to the mountain that's collapsing down on me, and may I compliment your debris. I'm gonna wed the mountain, a fully normal mountain.
This is already Teardrops on My Guitar. I guess that's not a valid complaint, because, like, there's only so many things you can write songs about, apparently. Or at least with country music. I haven't heard that many. That isn't true either. I've heard several country songs that aren't just about love life. Well, this is her whole thing. She was also 14. And puberty makes every emotion seem like the most important thing. And so I just can't bring myself to care about child romances. It's just, it doesn't matter. She's 14, writing about a boy she likes who doesn't like her back. This is probably the same boy from Teardrops on My Guitar. But nothing in high school matters. Literally nothing in high school matters. I truly can't remember a single emotional event that happened during high school that ended up mattering later in life. I guess helping a friend through a panic attack, I guess that helped. It strengthened our bond some. I like the chord progression a lot less in this one. And then repeat that a lot. It just doesn't sound pleasing to my ear. This is deluxe edition I'm in. So she went back later in life and went, nah, I've got so many songs about boyfriends and ex-boyfriends. I've only got one about a potential boyfriend. Let's slap another on the grill and see how this one chars. This one's a perfectly good heart. I wonder if it's gonna be about someone that ruined a perfectly good heart by breaking it. First line.
It's not a sapient mountain, it's a big rock, and we'll have mountain babies, adopting mountain babies. Come check out my mountain wife or husband rock, that's my giant spouse.
How many times can I keep saying the same thing? I don't care. I think a first breakup is really hard. Especially when that's your first frame of reference. But I feel like this is the one that didn't actually need to be a song. It's just the thing where you write a line, why would you want to break a perfectly good heart? And you look at it and then you do a little hum about it. That doesn't always mean you have to try to write a full thing about it. Whose fault is this one? 3 writers and 2 producers on that one, neither of whom helped with anything else. So maybe that's why this one sucks especially. I think I heard a jaw harp in there. That was interesting. And there was a little bit in the bridge, bit on the guitar. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And then I heard the rest of the song. I was like, dang it, this keeps happening. I mean, this is the weakest bridge, right? Why would you want to break a perfectly good heart? Then goes right into, this heart's not unbroken anymore. Also a bridge of 2 lines? That feels kind of unheard of. Well, no, it's not unheard of. No, in fact, I've heard that plenty of times. It's just a bad choice. This is a phoning it in song. Well, we gotta wrap up the deluxe edition. Oh gosh. Do I have to talk about a new cover of a song we already listened to? No. 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 I will not do that because she always re-releases songs, and that's gonna set a precedent for doing way too much. It's just listen to the same songs I don't like. No. No, I'm done. This is it. This is the end of the first album. That's the end of... What the crap is your name? 2006's Taylor Swift by Taylor Swift. We're finally done with that album. Which means next we're moving on to Fearless. Just gonna look through. Do I recognize any of these? You Belong With Me. I recognize that one. Would you believe it? From a Minecraft parody. What the crap is a Platinum Edition? Are those new? As a bonus TV. Okay, I don't need behind the scenes of music videos and stuff. I don't need her life story. I'm only here for the music. That's a lot for the second one. I guess the first one did well enough. Yeah, let's make bank on it. And she did. You know, don't forget she's a billionaire and therefore unethical. Jeez Louise, is this where Taylor's version is coming through? What does that mean? How much of the same songs am I gonna have to listen to? I'm gonna ask friends that are actually into her stuff if the other versions actually make a difference or it really is just for album clout. I don't think I recognize the other songs on this list. Maybe The Way I Loved You, but I can't think of what that sounds like. Well, good thing I'm saving that for a different recording day. It is late May when I'm recording this. Of 2025. Golly, could you imagine if this took me more than the end of the year? Ah! Holy crap, you're still here. Why? Okay, so moment of clarity. I did try to, think of how to explain why people like this music and why people fell in love with this, what made her popular, why audiences flock to her. And I cannot figure it out for the life of me. Is it the culture of people that already like that music? Is it the instinct to go with what is familiar, what is comfortable? Does it have something to do with the socio-political climate of the era?
I don't have these answers because I don't know how to find them. And unfortunately, I need help. Someone watching this likes Taylor Swift's music. Did you like the first album? Did you actually? Do you actually now? Is it just because you liked it when you were younger? There's a little game I like to play with myself called Is the Thing I Like Actually Good, or Was I Just 8 When I Found It? And you won't believe which category usually wins out in the end. Just realized this is my first time doing anything on YouTube in forever, and I've gotten rid of nearly all of the old stuff. Did you know I have a handlebar mustache? Because while I've been editing, I've noticed it just blends into my beard now. And I don't know if, like, one of the staple visual motifs for, like, my person has been obvious or not. It doesn't actually matter. It's just that's what I've been identified as since I was, like, 16? Look, I've never claimed to be an expert in anything, except for when I have, and that's only because it's funny and I'm right. But as I continue to work on this project, and as I continue to work on the second part of this series, which is already underway, and it has been for a while, as of the time of me recording this, I am in need of feedback. Get people who like this to watch this, so I can get a very clear answer as to how come. And I know some people are going to come in and say, like, well, I actually fell in love with her stuff because of this album that you haven't done. Well, that's not the question, is it? That isn't the question. The question is, why did this album get popular? Why did the first one, how did this start? That's what I'm trying to find out. We will get to the other things when we get to them. For now, I'm just going piece by piece. And I ask that you go at the same pace that I'm going, because I am just one creature, and I am trying so hard. I'm just a poor little freak. I can't be expected to think. I hope someday to make something where I can actually show my characteristic energy, but when I am in hater mode, I just get so tired. That's not true. When I'm in hater mode, I'm very, very impassioned. But I don't even have enough energy to hate. I'm just bored by this. I'm bored. This bores me. Why do you like it? Explain, please. And you may ask, Gimmick, if you don't even like doing this, why did you do this? Well,
Why should bananas get all the fun stuff anyway, and all I get is rights? Now let's all ride to the polls on goats.